Okay guys, so hope all of you are well, and in this lecture I am going to give you a little detail, a little very brief description regarding economy. This lecture is addressed to both the students who are beginners and as well as who are already preparing for mains and who are left with a last revise. Okay, if you have no time, in case of the students, experienced students who are already preparing for upcoming P, if in case of lacking of time, if you are confused what to revise in the last moment and what to not revise, and the beginners who want to prepare for the next year exam pre, I have prepared this lecture keeping view of the concern of both type of students who wants to begin for UPSC. They can also follow this lecture in preparing economy, and who are going to appear this year pre, they can also at the last moment they can revise these things in economy. It will give the basic and it will actually fulfill the basic criteria as demanded by UPSC. In this lecture, I am not able to give all the details or all the brief descriptions of all the topics of economy. Here I have given 3 topics only, and in my subsequent lectures, I'll try to give lectures on the other topics also. The thing is that in case of economy, just you can begin, the beginners can begin right from money market and capital market. And while money market, before proceeding, I forgot to tell you that in case of economy, instead of reading different books or instead of reading books, because I have read Ramesh Singh book also, but the book is full of so unnecessary details that it will make you complex and perplex. Okay, and in that case, what happens if you read such kind of books? Your mind will be full of a kind of fear regarding economy, that it is very complex or difficult. But the actual thing is not such. Economy is a very interesting, but the thing is that you have to know how to read the economy. The thing is that I am giving you some terms before you going to books, or you can also search on net about regarding the terms, what does the term indicate, and you can also choose the terms from the respective subject, respective topic from any book. The thing is that in case of economy, you have to always try to understand two things, that implication and practicality, implication and relation with market. Implication means what are the practicality behind every term, what does the term indicate, okay, what is the relation of the term with market, what is the relation of the term with fiscal policy, monetary policy, with the economy of the country. The term is relation with the market, the relation with the economy, and the implication or the indication behind the term. These things are very important. Okay, then before approaching, in case of while approaching, we will start with money market, and in case of money market we have to start with RBI. And in case of RBI, what we have to keep in mind, that what are the functions of RBI, what are the different functions of RBI, means RBI and its functions, and there is a system RBI and minimum reserve system. Okay, then at first in money market we have to see that what is the role of RBI in money market, what is RBI and what are its functions. While we have to study functions, we have to be very careful, because sometimes UPSC asks question who is of the following is not a function of RBI. Then we must have the conceptual clarity to give answer in case of answer of economy. That is while reading economy we have to be very careful. RBI and its functions, RBI and minimum reserve system. Then after that, after completing RBI, we have to see that there are what is the concept of broad money and narrow money. What is the differences? What are differences between broad money and narrow money? And after that, we have to also examine what is the distinction between monetary policy and fiscal policy. The 4 topics I am giving you: RBI and its functions, RBI and minimum reserve system, broad money and narrow money, monetary policy and fiscal policy. We have to distinguish each one from the other, how one is different from the other, and what are the causes, implications of these things. What is minimum reserve system? What are different functions of RBI? What is the distinction between broad money and narrow money? And there are different terms M1, M2, M3, M4. Which one is broad money? Which was in narrow money? The thing is that why it is broad money? Why it is narrow money? In economy, you have to ask question always why. Why is very important, because it can only that if you question why, only then it will give you the concept. Then after in monetary policy and fiscal policy, both are not same, and a regulator of each one is not the same. Mind this. That's why you have to mind the distinction between monetary policy and fiscal policy. Then you see monetary policy or credit control by RBI. We know that RBI controls the monetary policy, but what are the instruments that RBI uses for controlling monetary policy? There are two kinds of you see general or quantitative instrument and qualitative or qualitative instrument. Then in case of general or quantitative instrument, there are two parts: direct instrument or indirect instrument. Okay. Then in case of direct instrument, what will come? Cash reserve ratio, statutory liquidity ratio. And in case of indirect instrument, what will come? Bank rate, open market operation, liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity adjustment facility means repo rate and reverse repo rate. These terms are very important. You have to study these terms very carefully. Then now the thing is that the making a definition of this term is not enough. Okay, you have to see why RBI uses repo rate. What is the implication of repo rate in market? If RBI increases the repo rate, what will be its impact on economy? If RBI decreases the repo rate, what will be its impact on economy? In this way, what will be its impact on economy if it decreases or if it increases? This question you have to ask while reading economy in terms of every term. In terms of cash reserve ratio, SLR, bank rate, open market operation, treasury bill, repo rate, reverse repo rate. While studying these terms, you have to keep in mind what will be its impact on economy if any of the term is used by the RBI. If any of the term is restricted by the, if any of the term is used by the RBI, or if RBI increases any term, increases repo rate, increases CRR, or decreases CRR, or decreases repo rate, what will be its impact on economy? You have to examine these things in relation to the term. And a second important thing is that while reading these terms, you have to keep in mind that for whom these are applicable. There is a division. Okay, there are some, for example, you see repo rate, reverse repo rate, these are applicable for all banks, but cash reserve ratio, SLR, these are applicable only to commercial banks. In this way, you have to keep in mind two things while reading this chapter, that while reading these terms, that what will be its impact on economy in case of increasing and decreasing, and number two is that to whom they will be applicable. The another term, there are some terms regarding money market which you have to keep in mind while reading. They are number one, treasury bill; number two, non-performing asset; number three, capital adequacy ratio; number four, prime lending ratio; number five, base rate; number six, camels; number seven, banking ombudsman. While reading banking ombudsman, you have to read very carefully. Is there any fee, or is there any fee, whether you have to give any fee for applying while applying in a banking ombudsman? Who are the officers of banking ombudsman? Whether it is free, totally free of cost. Okay, you have to what is the process of appellate what is the process of appellate jurisdiction? You have to keep in mind all these things. Who works as banking ombudsman, whether it is related to all bank or whether it is related to only central bank. You have to define, you have to search, or you have to try to find that all these things while reading banking ombudsman. And another is Basel standard. So the beginners who are approaching to prepare for 2016 exam, in case of money market, you have to keep in mind all these terms, and you have to read these terms in relation to market, in relation to economy. And the students who are going to give pre this year, you have to also keep in mind that these things are the basic of money market. If you have read these basics, then there is no need to fear. The question will not come outside the ambit of these basic things. Then another thing is that after money market we have to switch off the capital market. You see in capital market there are two divisions mainly: security market and financial institution. Financial institution under capital market will come IDBI, IFCI, IDFC. And in case of security market, it has been divided into two parts: gilt edge market and corporate security market. And corporate security market is again divided into two markets: primary market and secondary market. And secondary market can be divided into further parts like equity share, debenture, bond. Now these are the terms which you have to note down while reading capital market. Means these terms you have to read for economy in case of capital market, right? But the thing is that only searching the definition in economy is not enough. That is why what is your duty, that you have to see what is gilt edge market. There is in economy there is a confusion: who issue and who sell. Who issue gilt edge market and who sell. For example, in case of treasury bill, you see the government issue treasury bill, but treasury bill is not sold by government. Treasury bill is issued by government, but it is sold by RBI. In that way, in every case, gilt edge market, corporate security market, who issue, who sell. How the gilt edge market is different from corporate security market, right? You have to see these things, observe these things, and what are the impacts of these terms. If gilt edge, what is the impact of gilt edge market on economy, right? In case of corporate security, primary market and secondary market, you have to see why primary market is different from secondary market. What is the role of primary market and secondary market to capital market in economy? You see, in case of secondary market, it has been further divided into two parts: equity share, debenture, and bond. Then what is your duty? What is equity share? What is its role? What is its importance? Usually debenture and bond. Debenture and bond, though there are similarities between them, but they are not identical. There is a minor difference between debenture and bond. What is the difference between debenture and bond, and how they are different from equity share? Why they are included under secondary market? Why they are not included under primary market? You have to observe all these things in capital market. Then after that, you can see there are different terms like first you have to see there are different types of capital in capital market, like subscribed capital, paid up capital. You have to search on net that what are different types of capital existing in capital market. In that way, different types of share: preference share, bonus share, swag share. In this way, different types of share, different types of capital exist in capital market. It is your duty to find out what are the different types of capital and why they are different. Each one is different from another, right? And what are the different types of share. It is not possible for me to give all the details, to give all the list due to technical difficulty. Right, that's why I am giving you the direction. In this direction you just go and you will find out. In that way, you see, in case of capital market, what will come? Stock exchanges. Then in case of stock exchanges, what you have to see, that you first, in case of India, you can see that there are different committees related to the stock market, okay? And you can see the history of, you can type history of stock exchange in India, right? Then after that, you have to, I am giving you different terms. You have to search, or you have to try to find out the terms. NASDAQ, 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 depository, commodity exchange, share index. And in case of share index, you have to find out different types of share index existing in the capital market, both in India and foreign. In case of India, we all know, okay, like Sensex, it is a share index. Then you have to find out what is share index, what are the different kinds of share index existing in capital market in India as well as foreign. In India, we already know right? But in case of foreign, actually there are different kinds of share index which are world famous, like Dow Jones, CIMAX, Bovespa. Okay, you will type in the net that different share indexes across the world. Try to remember the different share indexes of main countries like Germany, Brazil, China, France, right? In this way, make a list of different type of share indexes existing in India and foreign markets. Sometimes you might face question to match the following terms. Which of the following is incorrectly matched? You might be you're given these terms to match. In that you have to prepare for them. You have to and on the other hand, you have to prepare different terms. What is NASDAQ? What is depository? What is commodity exchanges? Right. Then after C, there are some another terms related to capital market. What is credit rating? Credit rating is given to a financial institution to examine its financial status. So what is credit rating? What are the different credit rating agencies like Modi, S&P Limited, Fitch Investment Limited, and what are the different labels that these credit rating agency give, like AAA plus, AAA, only 1A, AA, double B, B, C. In this way, these credit rating agencies provide different types of actually rating. What are the indication of these rating? AAA means what? AA plus means what? You have to find out these things searching on net. What is credit rating? What are the different credit rating agencies, and what are their levels, rating method? Then after that, there are some other terms related to capital market. IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, SEBI, right? IRDA, SEBI, what are their functions and what are their role to capital market in India? Security Exchange Board of India, SEBI, and IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. Their role, their importance in capital market of India. Another two terms, bull and bear, B-U-L-L, bull, B-E-A-R, bear. So these are the terms related to capital market. Nothing will come outside this basic. The beginners who are approaching for 2016, while reading capital market, you have to remember these terms, and you find out these terms, try to understand the implication behind every term, and try to find out in net, and after that prepare notes. As I am saying to you, it will prepare your basic. And students who are going to appear this year preliminary exam, these are basic things which will help you. It will give the concept of capital market, and it will prepare you for facing exam in a very appropriate way. Then after that come to taxation system. You see, taxation is a very dynamic topic. In every year new things are related coming to tax system. Okay, in every year budget new provisions are introduced in tax, but it is related with the current topic, right? But it is related to dynamic topic which you have to prepare from everyday newspaper. But the thing is that in case of static topic, which will give you the basic concept about taxation in economy, here I am going to indicate only those terms. The terms which are related to taxation system which will prepare you the basic for UPSC. These are direct and indirect tax, impact of tax and incidence of tax, progressive and regressive tax, proportional and digressive tax, specific and ad valorem tax. These are the terms which you have to keep in mind while prepare taxation system for UPSC economy. You have to see how each one is different from economy. How each one is different from the another. What is the implication of each tax system? What is the impact of each tax on consumer, right? What is the difference between direct and indirect? How impact of tax and is different from incidence of tax? What is progressive tax and regressive tax? What is specific tax and ad valorem tax? Which one is much more beneficial, specific or ad valorem, right? In this way you have to prepare this thing. Then in case of taxation system, I am giving you some terms: parallel economy, cascading effect, fiscal drag, cess, surcharge, Laffer's curve. Okay, These are the very important terms regarding taxation system which you have to prepare. What is cascading effect? CESS, cess and surcharge. Both are up to some extent similar, but still there is a minute difference between cess and surcharge. How the cess is different from surcharge? You have to keep in mind these things while reading. What is Laffer's curve? What is the relationship between what is the two term? What is the what are kind of relationship is determined by Laffer's curve? You have to keep in mind this thing. So these are the basic terms related to tax. These are the basic terms related to tax. It will prepare the beginners for the basic, and it will prepare the students for upcoming pre. If you have not still revised economy, then you have to keep in mind these things. At least accept these terms. You can revise anything, but don't revise anything leaving these terms. These terms which I am giving will determine, will prepare you for basics. So these are the basics related to taxation system. Then you see structure of budget. It is the topic of our economy syllabus, the structure of budget. Then in case of structure of budget, you have to divide the budget into revenue budget and capital budget. Revenue budget is divided into two parts, revenue receipt and revenue expenditure. Revenue receipt is divided into two parts, tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue means interest received, dividend and others. And revenue expenditure means planned expenditure and non-planned expenditure. On the other hand, capital budget is divided into two parts, capital receipt and capital expenditure. It will prepare or this flow chart. Keep this flow chart in front of you and prepare every topic related with this flow chart. This topic will be finished within 10 minutes. But the thing is that how you have to approach while preparing this flow chart. Your first duty is there. You have to see what does tax revenue means. What are the different measures throughout which tax revenue are earned by government? What is non-tax revenue? What are the components of non-tax revenue? In that way, what are the components of planned expenditure? What are the components of non-planned expenditure? In that way, what are the components of capital receipt and what are the components of capital expenditure? You have to prepare every chart here, that what are the components of revenue received, what are the components of revenue expenditure, what are the components of planned and non-planned expenditure. You have to prepare a chart regarding each term, because in exam quiz you will find question that which of the following does not belong to non-planned expenditure, which of the following does not belong to non-tax revenue. In this way you will find question in exam hall. So this is the basic related to structure of budget. It will prepare both it will determine the basic both for beginners and both for the students who are going to give pre. So economy is very easy. Have you seen within 2-3 days you can prepare, you can finish preparing economy, but you should know where you have to give emphasis, how to prepare and what are the topics you have to prepare. It is very easy, and in my next lecture I will come some another topics. Right, till now you should revise these things and you should prepare economy in terms of these topics and terms.